Jonathan,
Welcome back.
look what I have for you.
Thanks so much. Let's take a look. Oh, wow. We got a lot of documents here. All right, great. Yep, baptism, birth certificate's fantastic. Evidence of all of the harm that the family has suffered. The evidence that we received from the film crew's trip to Honduras is so important and might be vital to the case. We have, for example, all of the interviews the film crew did in Honduras of community members corroborating what happened to this family. So when they go and they tell their story in court in front of that judge, it's not just the family that's saying it, but it's all these other people that the film crew has interviewed. The strategy that we're going to employ in this case is we're going to make sure that all of the evidence we present is consistent. It's also very, very important to rehearse, to practice the testimony, the types of questions that they will get from the judge so that they know what to expect. And also, we just want to make sure that they are as comfortable as possible and that there are as few surprises as possible. I am cautiously optimistic that this case will have a good result.
The chances of getting legal asylum without representation is next to zero. And sadly, I think it's exceedingly rare for people to have representation.
The likelihood of receiving a favorable decision in the United States when seeking asylum is dependent on a number of factors. Oftentimes, it comes down to the judge who's hearing your case, the government attorney who's processing your case. Are you, as an asylum seeker, viewed as a sympathetic individual? Do you have an attorney? If you have an attorney, has your attorney engaged an expert witness who's able to assist the court by placing the facts of your particular case into the proper framework? All of these factors have a direct bearing on the outcome of your case. I've personally had the experiences in which individuals seeking asylum were deported back to their home country and were in fact tortured and murdered upon return.
Llegaron las verduras. Esta masa que estoy amasando es para las famosas baleadas. Pues se hace la tortilla, luego se le echa frijoles, bueno, dependiendo como la quiera. Lleva frijoles, lleva queso, crema y aguacate.
¿Quieres preparar el menú? Porque yo lo voy a imprimir. So, papusas.
Sí. Catrachitas.
Catrachitas y baleadas.
Baleadas.
En algas frescas. Sí. Ok. Qué bueno. Qué bueno.
At the beginning of the pandemic, our church decided to turn our parking lot into a gathering place, an outdoor plaza. We have a coffee shop and we have a little craft shop, and it's set up so the asylum seekers who are stranded with us can come and participate in the fundraising that goes into providing them with a safe place and food and medical care and legal services. And so this is a place where people from the community can come in and give donations for their coffee or donations for their food, and also directly support the asylum seekers that we're giving hospitality to.
Gracias. Ok, nada.
There was so much excitement and so much support for the coffee trailer and so much demand for food that we found this other trailer and little by little started fixing it up and outfitting it for making pupusas so that Santos and her daughter would have a place to do what they do so well.
¿Te gustan las pupusas de tu hermana?
Ah, sí. Es una de las comidas favoritas de las que hace ella, entonces.
Ay, que laureles son verdes
En Honduras, este era mi sueño de tener un negocio de venta de comidas, pero por la delincuencia y las maras y todo, pues nunca pude tener un negocio así y gracias a Dios hoy pues tengo la oportunidad de tener mi negocio de venta de comida.
She's always made food for people. She ran a tortilleria in Honduras with her daughter for years and years and years. And when she came here, one of the first things that she did was start to make food for other people in La Casa de Maria Marta. And it's one of the ways that she ministers to others.
Hola. ¿Cuál pupusa puede hacer un orden? Chicharrón. Okay.
Ya tengo 35 años y pues creo que mucho tiempo de que siempre deseé tener un negocio y pues nunca había podido, pero creo que mi sueño se hizo realidad.
My name's Danae. I was connected with this church through a professor at Baylor. And then I initially started here kind of serving as a mentor to Haiti. And they just kind of took me in and became my family here.
Es una alegría compartir con los hermanos de la iglesia y pues ellos me han ayudado mucho y así varias personas que tienen un buen corazón.
Pues me siento feliz por estar cerca de ella siempre, estar ayudándole en todo lo que yo puedo. Siento mejor no estar separada de ella, es mejor estar trabajando juntas, como siempre lo hemos hecho.
What I love about this church community is its welcoming and the love that they bestow to anyone who enters the building. To see what they have been through and they still have their faith is a very humbling experience for me because I have been so blessed that I have not had to have my faith challenged. So it just makes me thankful and appreciative.
A veces pienso que tal vez fue un sueño que hice, a veces pienso que todavía no estoy en la realidad, pero gracias a Dios sí es una realidad.
I can't imagine what my life would be without them here. Selfishly for me, I want them to stay because I love them and have learned more about love from them than anything I've ever experienced before. I can't fathom what they would do if they were to have to be deported because it is a real threat on every single one of their lives.
After Elder made that long journey to reunite his sister with her child, Elder's wife, Lourdes, was there in this small town trying to make it with her two little ones, and they came under a significant threat. She had to leave suddenly with very little planning.
Mi esposa decidió viajar porque pues estábamos separados y pues yo tenía el niño más grande aquí y los otros dos niños estaban con ella, entonces ella estaba muy preocupada, yo también porque queríamos estar reunidos, entonces muy preocupado, echándole ganas a la vida y todo, pero no me sentía completo.
They were separated for at least 2 years. It was one of the worst journeys that I've heard of. She made it halfway and was deported, then came back and was kidnapped. It was awful, and we were terrified the whole time. Her husband and son were just beside themselves with what she was enduring. Through persistence and support and a lot of prayer, she was able to make it through. it seemed impossible. And yet here they were, all walking together as a family. It was absolutely spectacular. I get chills just thinking about that night at the bus station. She continues to be such a strong woman and so loving. She's running the coffee shop and making sure her kids are doing well in school and doing all the things that mamas want to do and doing them so well and so full of love.
Entonces sí fue pues un poco muy difícil todo el trayecto, pero pues gracias a Dios lo logramos y estamos todos juntos.
Pues sí, estuve casi 2 años aquí solo con mi niño y fue muy difícil y solo pensé en algún día volvernos a reunir como familia, pero logró llegar hasta acá.
Tenemos la esperanza de un mejor futuro para nuestros hijos, que nos permita el país poder graduarlos acá y pues que ya Dios nunca permita que nos volvamos a separar. Más que todo, pienso que si los 5 estamos unidos seremos fuertes.
Lourdes and Elder have become phenomenal leaders in our church community, and they are currently living on a ranch that has been donated to our church. Right now, it's a beautiful patch of land with a lot of trees and one big house. Elder's been remodeling that house, adding a whole bunch of bedrooms and bathrooms so that more families can stay there.
Ahora de estar acá yo me siento muy feliz, muy segura para la vida de mis hijos. Sé que acá en los Estados Unidos ellos van a estar seguros sobre todo. Nosotros nos venimos para una seguridad para ellos, porque nuestro país no es tan seguro. Entonces ahora nosotros, sobre todo lo que nosotros buscamos es la seguridad para ellos y nos sentimos muy felices de estar ahora acá nosotros. Le dije que me permitiera llegar, que yo le iba a servir. Entonces yo, mi compromiso con Dios, yo quiero cumplírselo. Entonces, primero Dios, con la ayuda de la iglesia, un día yo voy a ser pastora y yo le voy a servir a Él.
They talk about it as a small church plant. They talk about it as a place where they're welcoming families who are recovering together from their long journeys. Families who are getting back on their feet will have a safe place to stay together as they take their first steps in the legal immigration process.
Jennifer and Lucia, they moved from Hopedale a couple of years ago. They're just living just north of Peoria. And Jennifer's got a work permit. She's working in a restaurant. Lucia's been going to Christian school. She was involved with basketball and then in volleyball, and actually her volleyball team went to state.
They become more and more deep in my heart. They become more and more my family. They're thriving. They're just thriving.
Well, they are here today because we wanted to have a prayer blessing for them. And we had different groups of people put together prayer chains because we're going to be going for the practice and then later for their hearing. Over the last 4 to 6 weeks, I've been working myself directly with the lawyer, getting people to do medical evaluations, psychological evaluations, pulling together testimonials of people who can confirm what's going on in Honduras now, professional people who know the culture there and what's happening there. Over the last 15 years, I've served as an expert witness in hundreds of asylum cases originating from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, and in the past, Mexico. Generally speaking, judges and government attorneys are very appreciative of the inputs that I and other experts offer. Because as legal professionals, they are not experts in the social, historical, political, social, cultural context of Central America and Mexico. The issues that myself and other experts believe to be critical for legal decision makers are, number one, is the government of the asylum seeker's country making a legitimate, good faith, research-based effort to resolve these issues of societal violence. Number two, is internal relocation a viable proposition for this individual? And number three, does the government of the country in question have both the ability and the willingness to protect this individual from future harm if they are returned?
This morning we're going to have a special prayer time for Jennifer and Lucia. They are going to prepare this week with a lawyer for how they will present themselves to the judge on May the 12th. So that date is a day that they should find out whether or not their asylum request is granted.
May 12th is the actual asylum hearing, where we go before a judge in Chicago. And it's just a big, big day.
Pues es una fecha muy importante y también siento que sí, las personas me han hecho sentir muy cómoda y están siempre apoyando, me han hecho muchas oraciones, pero eso no me hace sentir menos nerviosa. Sí me siento muy nerviosa porque no sé qué va a pasar ese día.
If you'd want to come up now, you could.
I'm kind of nervous, to be honest, because like my mom said, we don't know what's going to happen. And I don't think I want to go back to Honduras.
To go back to Honduras, I don't even like to think of it as an option because we've heard the stories. I know the horrible situation there. It's no place to be for a woman. It's hopeful that it can get better with new government leadership there, but it's also a difficult situation, and it's almost matter of fact. If you go back there, there's a number on your head to be killed.
It's hard for my imagination to even fathom them being sent back. No matter what happens, we're here. My prayers are strong that He allows them to stay.
Lord, we want to ask you for three things, maybe four. That the journey they are taking to Goshen this weekend to meet with the lawyer might be fruitful. Lord, that you might give them the words to speak. Lord, that the heart of the judge might be softened. He might be a shower of mercy. And Lord, finally, that asylum may be granted to them. En el nombre de Jesús, amen.
I know it's stressful for them, and my prayer is that they can be comforted and calm in spirit in going into this, because as they saw from the very beginning, it's all in God's hands.
She's helping me to find another work, another job.
Find another job? Excellent.
No sabemos qué va a pasar el día de la corte y después qué sigue, pero hasta ahora se han sido muy buenas personas con nosotros.
We don't know what's going to happen, but we know that they're going to be there for us.
It's hope for the best, expect the worst, and we take what comes. We're confident that the asylum case fits into the legal requirements for asylum, and that the judge will see it that way and grant asylum. If that is not the case, we would definitely appeal it. I am with faith and hope that they can come to the right conclusion. When we started this, we didn't know what we were doing, and God knew what needed to come out of it. And if nothing else, it has been such a blessing to me and to our church. In fact, we actually contacted San Antonio and said, we're ready for another family.
Alejandra was in jail, and she was there for weeks, and she had been separated from her children, and these lawyers were working desperately to figure out some sort of deal to reunite her with her children.
No.
We had no idea what to do as a church. How do you help someone who is so vulnerable and also just so precious and is doing everything she possibly can to support her kids and be with her children? And so we as a church, the only thing we knew to do at that moment was to desperately make phone calls and write letters. We wrote letters to everyone we possibly could and called every official we possibly could. I don't know if what we did helped that much, but there was a miracle. Just before Christmas, she was released. Now she's headed back to Georgia, where her 2 precious children are waiting for her.
No sabía nada que yo iba a salir. Gracias a Dios que también me escuchó la oración y he pedido mucho, he doblado mi rodilla como ni se lo imaginan ustedes.
Me siento muy contento porque quería que ella estuviera conmigo y pues ahorita sí ya lo va a estar ahí. Sé que en unas cuantas horas ya va a estar conmigo y pues gracias a Dios que me prometió verla otra vez.
Yo estoy muy agradecida y a veces yo le digo que no tengo cómo para pagarlas, pero Dios que los bendiga y que les siga dando fuerza en sus trabajos. Mi amor, los quiero mucho, los amo, papá. Mis hijos. Te quiero mucho. Ay, los quiero mucho, ya estoy contenta.
Yo también te quiero.
Soy yo.
Ultimately, the judge chose to release her from the detention center so that she can move through the asylum proceedings here in the United States. We have received families who have lost absolutely everything, and they're still praising God. And families who do not know where their next meal is going to come from, but they're still giving thanks. And families who have been mistreated and attacked and insulted, and they continue to love one another. That is faith. The life of immigrants is a constant challenge. They are challenged by the needs of the present and the concerns of the future. And they're also challenged by everything their body and their minds and their spirits are carrying from the past. There's this one moment when this church was absolutely full of people. And I was sitting right here in this very spot. And the window was open so you could see down into the sanctuary, and the sanctuary was absolutely full of people. And all down the hallway was full of mothers and children. And then down the stairs, the fellowship hall was absolutely packed with families. And I could hear everything. And it was sort of a cacophonous sound of coughing and the chirping of the ankle monitors, the GPS ankle monitors. And I remember being right here at 2 o'clock, unable to sleep at that sound and just losing it. I was exhausted and I was overwhelmed, and I also was hearing this sound of human hurt and illness, and then also dehumanization, where these people have these shackles, mothers who tried to save their children's lives. And I started to cry, and I was angry, and I was very sad. And then I was able to hear a mother begin to sing. And it was a lullaby song that she was singing to her child, but it was loud. It wasn't like a quiet lullaby. It was like a bold lullaby. And it felt to me, in that moment, it felt to me like that's the way God responds to this. That's the way God responds to hurt and dehumanization, with a lullaby sung by a mama who's suffering. And it's a strong voice, and it's a beautiful voice. It was a comforting voice. It's a challenging voice. And I'm really grateful to have heard it.
We went up to the courtroom, but we are not allowed in the courtroom. We waited, and finally, Jennifer came out of the courtroom. She did not say a word. She didn't have to say a word. The excitement in her eyes was, I am free. I am free. I'm safe and I'm free.
Cuando llegué sentía un poco de nervios, porque no sabía cuál iba a ser la decisión final del juez, y eso era un poco de nervio y miedo a la vez.
My mom came out, and I just saw this big smile on her face, and so that's when I knew that we had won the case. Before that, I was really nervous, but I knew that if God brought us here, it's because He had a plan for us. I felt relieved, and I was really happy.
It was pure joy. And it gave a new appreciation to be doing what God wants you to do, a new appreciation for this country, the freedoms that we have here, not to take them for granted, because they don't.
Estoy viendo en un futuro y pienso que tengo que trabajar en eso, porque sí me gustaría ser ciudadana y trabajar un poco más en mi inglés. Estamos trabajando en eso y muchas cosas para bien. Saber que Lucía podrá ir a la universidad y graduarse. Pago mis impuestos, puedo aplicar para, en un futuro sí, trabajar para aplicar para tener mi casa y no tener obstáculos que impidan ser independiente. Bueno, tengo muchas cosas por qué agradecer. Primeramente a Dios, siempre lo he dicho, y luego a las personas de la iglesia de Hopedale Mennonite Church, porque siempre han estado apoyándome desde el momento que yo vine, y a pesar de que ahora ya tengo mis papeles y pude ganar mi caso, aún siguen ayudándome. I'm happy. Estoy feliz.
The latest in Santos's case, we're just in waiting mode right now. They are in court proceedings. They have court dates. So the next step for them is to appear for those court dates. Depending on the judge's docket and how things are going at the time, it could be 2023, 2024. We just don't know right now, and we won't know until we appear in front of the court for the first time. In the meantime, we are applying for work permits for the whole family. This will allow them to be able to work with permission in the United States, and it gives them IDs. They can get Social Security cards. They can get driver's license. We're very excited to be able to do that now because they're waiting on the interview, and we have no idea how long that will take. It could come any day. It could come in years.
Santos was given her work permit. She's able to live independently now and support her family, support her kids, send money home to her ailing parents. And she's really, really proud of the advancement she's made. She's proud of the independence that she's won. And we're so proud of her too.
A veces llega a otras ciudades uno y pues la gente, hay personas que son racistas y lo miran mal a uno, pero gracias a Dios en el lugar que yo vine a quedar aquí, o sea, no me siento como que soy una persona particular, no que como que estoy entre la familia, o sea, es una gran alegría.
Haiti has worked really, really hard in high school. She's learned English. She's a graduate of high school and working toward her own work permit. And the family have continued to show phenomenal resilience, God-given resilience. And it's a gift to walk that with them as a church community.
Todas las tardes cuando vengo de la escuela, siempre vengo a hacer cena porque mis hermanos tienen hambre y ellos no pueden cocinar. Mi mamá trabaja todos los días y pues viene muy de noche. Tengo que hacerlo yo porque si no va a tener hambre cuando ella venga. Y ella viene muy cansada para que pueda venir a cocinar ya cuando ella venga.
There's a constant fear of deportation. There's a constant fear of rejection. And there always is a choice. The first thing we can do is we can reject people outright. The second thing we can do is just ignore them. And the third is that we can come around and support them. The first two options always lead to suffering. And the first two options always lead to the empowerment of the darkest parts of our society and the society of other countries. So when we're rejecting folks, when we're ignoring folks, we are putting them into the hands of predators, we're putting them in the hands of abusers, we're pushing them into deeper generational suffering. When we come around them, though, there is phenomenal opportunity for growth in our communities, growth in our hearts, growth in our families. So I would strongly, strongly recommend ignoring the first two options of rejecting folks and ignoring folks. And God give us the strength to lean in to investing in those who are most vulnerable.
Si tú te vas, si tú me dejas bailando sola, yo encontraré lo que me enamora. La vida es corta para llorar. Si tú te vas, si tú te vas, y aunque la pasamos muy bien, no puedo cambiar lo que no fue. Ya no hay más que hablar, yo ya no te quiero esperar. Ya lo verás, no te preocupes por mí. Tengo mil razones para ser feliz y tú nunca más me vas a hacer sufrir. No voy a rogar, ya lo verás. ¿Qué vas a saber de mí? Vas a darte cuenta que al final perdiste tu última canción que hago por ti. Si tú te vas. Muchas gracias. Qué lindo.
Immigration is just really important to me because I think it's one of the biggest humanitarian crises around the world, not just in the US and Latin America. And I think that people need to be more empathetic towards these people, to really understand what these people are going through and understand that, you know, people aren't coming to the States to rob or to be bad hombres or whatever. You know, we're coming here to the States because we want and we think that we deserve having our human rights respected and be able to give to our kids the best life possible.
When we talk about immigration, we're talking about home. We're talking about families who have lost their home, who are desperately trying to create home, to find home for their families, for their future. And when I say home, I mean the place where you are completely loved and where you're completely safe. And we've recognized in this journey as a church that we're all looking for home. We're all looking for this place where we're completely loved and completely safe. After seeing the need and hearing the stories of these families coming through, it's been heart-wrenching to understand the numbers of people who are trapped on the other side, to understand why they fled north. So often, whenever we talk about politics, whenever we talk about immigration policy at all, generally the conversation is about deterrence. How can we make the most vulnerable folks suffer more so they won't come? Very, very rarely is there ever a political conversation about family and home and safety. Very rarely is there a political conversation about love. I am gonna breathe my last one day, and as I breathe my last, I want it to be a prayer to God. I don't want it to be a pledge of allegiance to a nation. In my last breath, I want to give thanks to a God who created me, knit me together in my mama's womb, and knit together all my brothers and sisters. In this beautiful, beautiful song of creation, I want to ask questions about that. How are we participating in that giving of home to our brothers and sisters? How are we loving our neighbor as ourselves?